pass the sign-in sheet around and agendas if anybody hasn't done that yet. You can ask a question.
What kind of call is meeting to order? Everything that's going on. It is time. Talking. The clock's gone.
Totally cut back?
Roger is in charge of a lot of this stuff, and he says it's time. Stand up, we're gonna say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was about the loudest pledge of allegiance we've ever had.
Play ball, Patriots.
Yeah.
the sheriffs. You know, they've been having adventures that we don't even want to know about. So let us, this is the November 7th, 2025 meeting of the Lincoln Government Day here in Lincoln, Montana. As I told you all, well, maybe some of you haven't been here, but state law requires that we record these meetings, and so we have a little recording device. Roger's in charge of it, that when you speak, go up to the podium, state your name clearly, and then proceed. But if you talk from out there, it doesn't work as well for our recording, so we've got to become a little more formal. So, let's see, today, I am Candace Payne, I am the chair of this committee. I've got, let's see, this is the November, no, this is the November meeting, and then I've got the December meeting, and then somebody else gets to be chair. To my right is, you guys are sitting on the wrong sides, you know. You should be. This is Andy Hunthausen, notoriously the leftist. This is Mr. Tom Rawl, notoriously the rightist. This is Jacob Miles, not kilometers, but miles. That's how Andy helped me remember his name. You know how I am with names. Jacob, and he works for the Public Health Department. And Roger Alls, who is a new grandpa, has a granddaughter now, second one. And Kevin Horn from our Public Works Department. And Gil Marion Conception is going to be introduced and speak to us on all things Public Works. Okay, we have a sign-in sheet, and I know my buddy Andy has just been out there whipping people up to get signed up on the sign-up sheet. But we need to have the sign-up sheet. We've got this agendas laying around. Help yourself to one. And oh, I forgot. Representative Zach Worth is amongst us. Okay, hold your hand up, so if somebody wants to complain or yell about the legislature, go to him. Okay. And we've got Jim Yarborough from the Forest Service, currently unemployed, but we hope he gets paychecks again pretty soon. And Zach Muse. I say, pretty soon I won't have to do this anymore. I don't have to remember people's names. Zach Muse is, he runs the post office here. Yeah. Well, any kind of, all that other stuff, but I'm trying to. Okay, I think that is all I have to say. Is there anything else? Okay, in that case, we will start off with the reports. And it appears we don't have anyone from the Sheriff's Department.
He said they're busy. They had some stuff and they're short.
Yeah, that's, every once in a while that comes up, and remember the 1 month they didn't get here, that's because there was a shooting over here, between here and Augusta. Okay, Community Council reports. Zach, you're on that spot.
Zach News Community Council. As usual, most everything is, Public Works, I'll let them deal with that. And, we did have, refresh, what was the community meeting,
Lincoln Sportsman's Club?
no, at the school, the.
CTG for the
Oh,
grant?
PT, yeah.
Yeah, grant for basically, trying to come up with projects for Lincoln, that fit Lincoln with the potential for 2.4 million.
2.73 million.
Yeah, so, we talked about that, the meeting was the next week, a couple days later, sorry, been really busy. My mind's fried. Great turnout, one of the better turnouts. Get involved if you can, because this could be huge. We have not got the grant. It's just, we're trying to get it and we're set up good for it. And it's for, you know, they need ideas, from swimming pool or, you know, something that benefits the people of Lincoln but brings in tourism. I mean, ultimately, we want it to do both, whether it be, like I said, a pool or a community center, a bigger community center that we can do, house the Chamber of Commerce, house the tourist people, have special events. I think one was, it come up that like, have it multifunction where you have like a basketball court inside of it, which can be a skating rink, which can be, you know, whatever. Ideas that are kind of outside the box, that it's a tourism grant, so it's got to promote tourism. I don't remember who could we have talked to, or you? There are several people that are involved, a lot of people. Probably Lori Richards even.
I mean, we're just on the committee.
Yeah, so there is a committee that's taking these ideas. We can get you the information. Sorry, I was not prepared for that. Changes at work, so it was hell this morning. Other than that, like I said, everything's Public Works. We did get the county and Macaulay got the grant in, application in for the preliminary architecture design. Hopefully we can get that, probably know first of the year or so, on the new potential community, or public safety center, fire, ambulance, and law enforcement in the same building right there on Stemple. The initial is trying to get the preliminary architectural design, which tells us what we can do, how big we can go, and probably what it's gonna cost. And we're guessing $7 million, but that is not gonna be asked from the community. We're not doing taxes, we're not doing any of that. It's gonna be grants or not at all. I can't afford it, you guys can't afford it, nobody can afford it to have their taxes put up. I'm not even gonna ask. So, just so you're not thinking we're gonna be coming out for mill levies or whatever. And that's about it.
Is there any questions from the commission? Tom? Andy? So, the grant you were talking about first, because we were talking two different pots of money, and one of them is through the for tourism?
Yeah,
And where does the money come from?
community development.
It's
Oh,
a bed
tax.
tax. It's a state bed tax.
Okay, see, these things are important.
Yeah,
So it comes out of the med tax, okay, and then the funding we're currently looking at is for the design only of the
fire.
community
Yeah.
resources building.
Yes, that's just strictly so we know what we can do and how big we can go and if it's possible.
And the money is from
Community development block grant,
CDBG.
CDBG.
Did you hear that? That was a 4-letter acronym and I did it all by myself. Thank you. Anything else,
She's
Zach?
slow on the uptake, but she's getting there.
I'm old too. What can you tell us about Narcan?
Narcan, well, because of the opioid epidemic, the painkiller side is dwindling because it's hard to get painkillers, hydrocodone, oxycodone like they used to. It used to be, they give you a year's supply and you can get another year's supply. And people are getting hooked on it back. So we had it initially for that, but because we don't have a lot of heroin here, and it's gotta be an opiate. But now with the creation of fentanyl, and then now carfentanil, which is, I don't know how many thousands of times stronger, but, you know, just a Q-tip word could wipe out Lucas Clark County. It's bad stuff, and we've always kept, probably for the last 7, 8 years, each one of the rigs has Narcan in it. The county just brought me another 50 boxes of it, I think, and it only lasts for a couple of 2 years, I believe, year and a half, 2 years, and we've yet to have to. We might have used it once on the other side of Rogers once, but fortunately we've been lucky. But it's just a matter of somebody, the cartels are mixing it in. You get your meth, Dennis, you go out and buy some meth, it's gonna have some fentanyl in it. And it's just, they're putting everything in these drugs that people are buying. And we do have the problem in Lewis and Clark County, Montana. It does come through 200 a lot, being trafficked from Washington, Oregon, east. So just be aware that it is out there. If you see something, don't go sniffing it and tasting it like you used to back in the day. Just leave it alone and let somebody, law enforcement, come and take care of it. What it does, it basically, you can't breathe, shuts down your body from your instinct to breathe, and it will stop your heart. It's kind of a magic pill because people are almost dead. You hit them with that, boom, they're wide awake, good to go. Usually pissed because you ruined their high, so then they get violent. But it is a magic pill, but it doesn't work on meth. It's got to be opiate based, which is fentanyl, carfentanil, the hydrocodone, oxycodone, Vicodins, all those, and heroin.
Thank you, that's very helpful. I'm not as well versed in this subject as, well, there's a lot of us out here, and if our kids and grandkids all of a sudden, this is not to call the doctor, this is to call one, so thank you.
It's pretty wide, Narcan's pretty widely available now. And the good thing about Narcan is, even if it's not a heroin overdose or fentanyl or something like that, and if you have it and you hit them with it, it has no side effects. It's not gonna hurt. We've had people that OD'd on meth and hit them with it. It doesn't do anything, but it doesn't hurt them either. So you OD on aspirin and hit yourself with Narcan, it's not gonna help, but it isn't gonna hurt you. So it's one of those, it is a miracle drug, basically. So,
Thank you.
you got it.
Oh, is there any further questions from anybody? Okay. The Forest Service reports.
Morning, everybody. Jim Harper, Lincoln District Ranger.
Would you say that slowly?
Good morning, everybody.
Oh, I thought you said.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Glad you're here.
Thank you. Moving forward, let's see, Lincoln Springs, we're still moving forward with Lincoln Springs. We're going solo, we're not doing the GNA piece of it. That was a decision made solely on financial issues that were unforeseen throughout the season that occurred. That's nobody that specifically triggered anything. It just happens in the government sometimes, so that's what we're moving forward with. It is moving forward. We're having lots of meetings about it right now, so yeah, you can look forward to seeing work out there if we don't get stopped by our Lincolns. So hopefully we can start moving along by early summer, May, June timeframe. But if there's not a ton of snow out there when we sign it, it's a FANIC now, not a decision. When we do get moving forward on it, you can look forward to seeing hand crews out there cleaning up right around the private property boundaries. That's why we're there, is fields work for the citizens, for that community, right? We're gonna protect that community, so. We're still moving forward regardless of any noise that you may have heard or rumors in the system, it's still going forward. And I would invite anybody who wants to see how the state and the Forest Service can work together to come to Lincoln to look at it. Because we do know how to do it here, there's no doubt, along with the volunteers. So, that said, we are still working. We are, some of us. We're still keeping the campgrounds open. Rogers Pass, Temple Pass, and Fletcher Pass toilets are still being cleaned and stocked. And we are burning piles today too, which most of you probably already know. Over here off of Dalton, the Willow Creek timber sale, Willow Creek decision. So for now, we're still moving forward with those things, and there's not much else to report. That's all I have.
Are you able to pay your rent?
I'm married and my wife works.
Oh, well, in that case, that's.
I have not lived paycheck to paycheck for years, so we're working.
Okay, my dad used to say, running the ranch was always, you could run the ranch and the ranch would provide for itself, but you gotta have a wife that works in town in order to pay for the kids' shit and groceries. Okay, thank you, Jim, that's, sounds like you got it under control. Are there any questions from the public? Seeing none. So you're out of here, thank you. Public Works report, this must be our friend Kevin.
Thank you, Chair, Payne, Commissioners. For the record, Kevin Horn. Public Works, I've been granted the privilege and opportunity to oversee our road department, our bridge department, our sign department, and our maintenance shops. And I got a little bit of an agenda for us here today that kind of ties in with community council. Some notes that we had some takeaways there. Before I go to road and bridge stuff, I'd like to introduce the newest member of our family at Public Works, Gail Mary Conception. She is helping on our administrative side now. So alongside Director Chambers and Assistant Director Audra Zackrell. Doing a heck of a job, by the way. We're really pleased to have her. So I'd just like to maybe turn it loose to her for a few minutes so you can learn a little bit about her and what her background is. It's kind of neat. I got to learn a lot about it on the way over today. I myself am a veteran, and she is a veteran too. So maybe you could say a few words, if you don't mind.
I don't know if it's neat, but yes, I just started, my name is Gabriela Concepcion. I just recently started a month ago, so I'm still very fresh and new. I'm working as the administrative assistant for all the divisions that fall under, specifically, road, bridge, sign, as well as land bill, under the staff. I recently, I'm originally from Florida, and how I ended up here, I actually enlisted in the Marine Corps for 8 years, went overseas majority of my time, deployed, did all that fun stuff, and so I got an internship here in Montana that was government affiliated, and I thought, hey, that'd be a little bit easier going from government to government. Transition's still very difficult, but it's going as smooth as it can. And I'm hoping that I can settle down here in Montana because I didn't really know much about Montana other than, thinking to myself, let me watch Yellowstone, and that's how I remember. You kind of forget Montana in the state. But other than, the show being completely right, the scenery is just absolutely, there's nothing to compare to it. And I hope I can settle down here, and everyone here has been just so amazing and welcoming. And I'm very, very excited to have joined this group. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Gail Mary. I appreciate your service. Thank you for that as well. Doing a heck of a job, folks. If you're calling into our office, you're going to get her kind voice. If you're looking for me or Director Chambers or any one of us, you're going to probably go through Gail Mary first. So thank you for that. Before we get, I passed out some show and tell items. I'll get to that on our bridge side here. Following up on some road stuff. Most of our summer projects are all complete now. We're getting into that fall area. Dust abatement in the Lincoln area was late this year for a couple reasons. You know, our mag system, that failed early on. So thanks to our Board of County Commissioners, we were able to secure some funding to rebuild that. It took a little over 90 days. Typically, we try to have our dust abatement in the Lincoln area by the 4th of July festivities, and that didn't happen this year. Not making excuses, it was because we did build that new facility down there. But we did get her done. We got, 4x4 and all the roads in town. They were just a little bit late this year, so we'll be on track next year for that. We're still recruiting for an operator in the Lincoln area. Kenny is by himself currently. Wanted to talk a little bit about that since we're going into winter. I know folks get a lot of concerns about plowing and things of that nature when we only have one person up there. We'll handle it until we get that seat filled the same way we did last year when we were recruiting, is we'll run people out of Helena. So it'll either be Travis Leslie or Matt Maxwell. They'll cover the Stemple side of the Helena, just Stemple Road on the Helena side, and as needed, they'll break over into this side to get up in the Dalton Mountain, Heron Lake, that area. Kenny, we'll have him focus on town first and foremost on the hard surface, and then we'll start working our way out. So recruitment's tough. We have a position open in Helena for a shop mechanic as well. And there's other numerous positions that are posted on the Lewis and Clark County website. So if you know anybody looking for work, have them jump on the website. The other thing that I wanted to mention on the Stemple side here, within the next 2 weeks, we're probably going to throw another crew at it really late. As long as now that we're getting some moisture, our intent is to try to get as much of that graded and up to speed so we can freeze it in for the winter. That way, hopefully the freeze-thaw cycles won't mess it up too bad. That we're dealing with 26 miles of mountain road that it's tough to take care of a lot. So we're gonna try to do that, get another crew going on that. All of our winter snow equipment is in place, so all of our plow trucks are in all their outlying districts. Kenny's got his grader up here with his big V plows. All that stuff is ready to go, and then we have sand, quite a stockpile of sand. So on the roadside, folks, I think we're looking pretty good. I really want to thank Jimmy with the Forest Service. Between Lewis and Clark County and the Forest Service, we just have an outstanding partnership, and we're able to get things done, which I appreciate, and I know the Forest Service appreciates, and you guys know what I'm talking about, Copper Creek Road, right? So when two governing bodies can step up together and make some stuff happen in the best interest of the community, that's important. And we have that going. We talked about it a little bit last night, I think Commissioner Rolfe and I did. Same thing with the Helena district, with Kathy Bushnell and her team, and our MDT partners, our Bureau of Rec partners, our BLM partners. That is so important for us as a county in this day and age to be able to partner. Good things happen when you can get multiple agencies involved. So Jimmy, thank you for all that, working with us and us working with you to get that done for the winter. Our show and tell items, I thought since I didn't have a lot to talk about, but I do talk a lot. I thought I'd do a little educational piece for you folks of the importance of our bridge department and how we get our funding. And the reason I wanted to tie that in, we got a little work to do on North Beaver Creek yet. That's going to get a new deck and some new beams in it. We're kind of waiting for freeze up to start that work. We are going to affect traffic for Parlin Park area just a little bit, but we'll still maintain traffic. We worked out a plan to get those beams in, cut the deck, but we can still try to maintain one-lane traffic in and out of there. So that, you can look forward to that. I actually had a date for that. That is November, I believe the 17th is a Monday, I think. Monday, thank you. November 17th is when we're going to start that project. We'll definitely do some public announcements on that. We'll put some reader boards up, and Gilmary will take all of our calls for us so we can pass on that to everybody that lives up there. We don't have to close the road, so we figured out a way to not do that. Won't change the weight restriction much, but it'll preserve that deck for a little while longer. the design for that complete structure is near complete. So we will have a set of table-ready plans when we can secure funding to reconstruct that bridge on North Beaver Creek. So I talked a little bit about our partnership with the Forest Service. We have the same thing going on with all of our grants in our bridge world. So between our Montana Coal Endowment Program, our MDT off-system bridge program, lately it's been Senate Bill 536 money, and also there's House Bill 924 that there's about $50 million in that dedicated to bridges that will go through the Montana Department of Transportation. We don't know what all that criteria is yet on that new money from this last legislative session, but believe me, we got our eyes kept on that for a lot of reasons. So within the last, I'd say, I don't know, 3.5, maybe 4 years max, we've been able to secure upwards of about $8 million for bridges. And if you look at the little handout I gave you, our little show and tell piece, it shows how many bridges are in which districts and what percentage that equates to. There's about 101 of them on here, and of the 101 bridges, those are bridges that are inspected by MDT Bridge Bureau. Those bridges are over 20 foot in length, okay? We have a whole nother page of this stuff that I didn't even bring that are bridges under 20 foot. That includes our box culverts, our concrete culverts, our larger drainage pipes that are 48 inches and greater. That takes up a whole sheet as well. That's all managed by the county. That's all that oversight inspection is all done by the county. The ones I'm showing you today, just wanted to make it clear, this is stuff that goes through MDT's Bridge Bureau, okay? So if you go to page 2, average age of bridges within the county, over 80 years old, 6% of those. That last $8 million is what's helped reduce that category. It's not 6% anymore. Dalton Mountain was on that list, right? That was a $4.5 million project. Beautiful bridge, by the way. Took a while to get it accomplished, but looking at it today, it looks awesome. The other ones that are in that category, and bear with me because I'm going off the top of my head here, we have Birdtail, right? Birdtail, which is a really hot topic up there. We have Augusta Clemens, that's in Augusta. We have Lover's Lane Bridge, that's in Augusta. We got the High Bridge that crosses the Dearborn River. We have Howie Street Bridge, which is in town right above Reader's Village. That bridge was actually put in before Montana was even a statehood. I think it's 1884 or 1883, something of that nature. And there's one more I'm forgetting about, I think. Anyways, that was, or Jack Walsh Bridge in the Sebin Canyon by Chevalier. Those were our bridges that are in that critical category over that 6% over 80 years old. That has been the county's primary focus of how to fund those bridges over the course of time, right? So with the grants that we've been able to get, the Senate bill dollars, Head Lane was in that, Head Lane Bridge was in that category as well. That $8 million, of course, included Dalton Mountain, which was about $4.5 million. Anybody know what, like just a normal bridge, say Stemple Bridge, crossing Foreman, any guesses what a structure in that day and age might cost? Upwards of probably $800,000 for something as simple as crossing that. The one we're working on right now, Augusta Clemens, is $1.4 million. Our bridge capital improvement plan for our bridge replacement plan, we're able to put about $300,000 into that every year for bridge replacements. So $1.4 million going to take us, what, 4 or 5 years at $300,000 if we dedicated just that money to replace that bridge. That's why these grants are so important to us. Director Chambers isn't here, but she is one of the sharpest people I think I've ever met on grants. When we hired her, our grant program just went unbelievable where we've been secured to be able to secure a lot of that money, you guys. So the Montana Coal Endowment, that's a 50% match. So if we put in for that, the county would either have to cover 50% of that, additional bridge, or we'd have to find additional funding for that 50%. Where the county has been so successful in the last 3 years is the structures that we've replaced have been 100% paid for by grant funding. Head Lane was 100% paid for. Augusta Clemens is 100% paid for. Dalton Mountain Bridge, Montana Coal Endowment money, MDT off-system money, 100% paid for. That's why we'll be able to accomplish this. So when I mention our partnership, not just with the Forest Service, it's with these other entities in the bridge world. So what does that mean? If we go to the next page, those are our bridges. And if you can see, we're starting to get in pretty good shape countywide once we get past that. The 60 to 80 mark, that 21%, those are a lot of canal bridges. They're in the hill and the valley because there's a bunch of those that were put in the 50s. They still have good ratings on them, but we're still planning for the future of how we're going to replace those bridges. The next page just shows what kind of structures they are, what percentages of how many we have there. And then the last page is the important piece, sufficiency rating. Without going into a whole bunch of detail, a sufficiency rating has a lot of criteria that talks about the overall health of the structure itself. It's what qualifies us mainly for Montana Coal Endowment money funding. It has to be below a certain percentage for us to be able to even apply for that. That's why we had to tackle the over 80s first, because they have the lowest sufficiency ratings. And in an effort to secure even more money in the future, say the canal bridges, they're in the 50% category. We won't be able to apply for actual Montana Coal Endowment dollars because they don't meet that criteria. They have to start failing so much before we can actually secure that. So this House Bill 924, this Senate Bill 536, as that money comes down from the legislature, those are our key opportunities on that, that 60 to 80 category to help that a little bit. So the other bridges that are under 20, the culverts and stuff, that is all through our bridge operations. So if we have to go fix Willow Creek over there and rip that out, put a new culvert in, that's going to come out of our operational side. Same with maybe some concrete box culverts, bridges under, I think we got 11 bridges, if I'm not mistaken, that are under 20 feet. We do our own assessments of that, and we'll budget dollars for any kind of replacements. And they might qualify for some additional funding, and they might not. So just wanted to let you guys know how important that is for us, and how successful, I guess, that we have been in the last 3.5 years to secure those kind of dollars. If you guys see what happened in Missoula, if you watch the news, they went out for another levy, right, for road and bridges, because they have numerous closed bridges that they have no money to fix or reopen, and that failed. It did not pass. So I don't know what the next steps are for Missoula County. I'm sure they'll probably be after some of those dollars too. The other question that I want to answer that I lead with, that there's been a little confusion on some of our road tax and how our taxes are for our roads. We talked about it a little bit last night. When you see on your tax bill, you'll see road tax, right? And then you'll also see voted road tax. Your voted road tax is your actual mill levy dollars that was passed, I don't even know, it's been quite a while ago. That specific tax is for materials only that go on county roads. So that's where the dollars come from for your asphalt, your crack seal, your chip seal, your asphalt patching, your striping, things of that nature. If you guys look at it, you probably pay somewhere between 20 and 40 bucks depending on your property on that voted one. That is all materials. The other piece of it is a portion of the property tax, okay? So MWA here gets a certain percentage of the total property tax across the county, which is 4.82% currently. I had Frank run the numbers, our financial director for the county. He ran those numbers for me just recent. So we collect in the road department 4.82% of the total property tax for the county. That's why you see it differently, so if you look, depending on the size of your property, what you have, it might be $40 on that as well, it might be up to 80. I've seen, typically it runs 80 to, $120 depending, some are larger, some are smaller. People really don't understand where that comes from. That road tax is what, not the voted, but the road tax is where all of our equipment comes from, right? That's where all of our manpower comes from. That supports our operational team, basically. Whereas the voted mill levy dollars, that is only for materials only. No labor, no equipment, none of that comes with it. That is strictly from the votes that how they wanted it is for the materials for you guys. Sand too, it covers things like that. So wanted to help with a little education on that piece. I think I talked a long time, I know. I'm very passionate about our team and what we do. We have a lot of great people within our public works department, and it makes my job a lot easier, you guys, to be 100% honest with you. We're covering 3,500 square miles. We got upwards of 600 miles of road with a very small staff that just gets it done. We do run behind a little bit, but no worries about winter in Lincoln. I guarantee it's going to be taken care of. So until we can find other people to help fill those slots. So I'm happy to entertain any questions. I know I talk a lot, but yes, sir.
Yeah, do I need to get up there?
Yeah, and put, state name.
Pat Hagan, Lincoln.
Oh, get up there so that it,
Pat Hagan, Lincoln.
thank you, Pat.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Kevin, the bridge, the bridge is great. We love the bridge. It's ponded out on both ends, and that road is in horrible shape.
Okay.
The guy come up and he did Dorothy, and it turned into soup, and you just spinning all over the place. We need gravel.
Okay.
We need a ton of gravel for there, at least to the 90. And the potholes and everything. I don't know, I thought, I was all excited because he was up there and he did that and then he just left. So,
Okay.
and that's about it for me.
Okay. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate that. Yeah, the Dorothy, I was wondering, with the moisture that we've had, remember when we were doing the detour, we were pounding that road with mag too. And if that material gets too wet with mag on it, yeah. Had a couple calls on it, very much aware of it. Our road manager is aware of it. You guys must have got a lot of rain here last night. I can only imagine what it looks like today. You brought up an interesting topic about bridge ends. There is some designs out there, some older designs that we fight a lot with MDT. It was an MDT design, and I think it had to do with the manufactured material that was required to go in front of the bridge abutments, that all that constant pressure and hitting it to the concrete creates big divots, creates potholes, creates all kinds of things. We just recently got done fixing 3 of them that are on hard surface roads, 2 of them Ren and I, and 1 on William Street. Our Craig River design, we tried to look at that at a different angle with more of approach slabs that go onto those that actually tie into the structure and then that are keyed in. So it's hard to explain. If you tied to the structure, a concrete slab would come out, it would notch down, and then another concrete slab would come out, and then gravel would be abutment to that and still supported underneath of that is the concept of the new design. I haven't seen it work yet, but I appreciate you bringing that up. I'll make sure our team gets on that before winter. And Kenny gets up there, but that's what causes some of it, Pat. So ongoing on 110 bridges, let me tell you.
Yeah. I just wonder that the stuff he's getting is out of the ditches, and it's all mud, it's all dirt, we don't have a ground.
Yeah.
Oh, trot up there and get in the mic.
I'm done.
No.
I'm done.
That was a good question.
No, I'm done.
You say, as you ask.
Gravel. That his question is gravel for gravel roads. So 400 and I believe 91 miles right now of county maintained gravel roads. And price per ton, average of gravel is teetering around $10 a ton. I'm just trying to equate in my head how far, you know, at three, I can cover at 3 inches thick of gravel, I can cover about 54 square feet, which is very big. Yeah, gravel's tough, Pat, honestly, just because of cost. One of the reasons why we have that crusher behind the tractor, there's a lot of, for me to get gravel here, you guys know where the gravel sources are, they don't meet any of my specifications anyways. Most of our gravel has to come out of Helena, so I know we've had plans and some people aren't real happy with me on Stemple because I've been saying for about a year and a half now that we're gonna crush that road, It severely needs it. What I rely on a road like Stemple is a federal land access program grant, right? When those grants come available, we'll write grant opportunities and say, we need gravel surfacing on, 26 miles of road because of this, and this that accesses all this federal ground. And we have been successful, we have not been successful. I can tell you we have the same problem in the Helena Valley. And the difference between, say, Stemple in the Helena Valley, Green Meadow Drive, Applegate, Collins Drive, those cars are packing anywhere from 2,500 to 4,000 cars a day. And it's taking a lot of resources to try to hold them together within town. And they all need gravel as well. It's something that we look at on our mill levy dollars, right? The voted mill levy dollars. That's the hardest part of my job is what I take that $2.4 million, how do I distribute that countywide? And we have to prioritize each one of those requests all the way down. Does it go to an asphalt road that's failing? Does it go to a desperately needed road that needs gravel? Where do we do that? And we bring all of our staff together, our engineering, our special districts, our operations, our directors, and we try to figure out where we're gonna put those dollars. And me personally, I like to put a little bit in each community as we can on an ongoing basis. And that's tough, you guys. Take $2 million and spread it from here to Augusta on, that many roads. I think there's 1,749 roads or something within the county, and hardest part of my job so I appreciate that comment. If there's ways that we can come up with strategic plans to long-term solve those issues, but I can almost tell you, Pat, every road in the county needs gravel. So, thanks for the question. Great question.
Further questions?
Dennis, did you
Oh,
have something,
yes.
Dennis?
Could you go up and say your name?
Well,
You gotta do the whole thing.
I don't want to duplicate my name is Dennis Hefty. I'm basically speaking for the neighborhood of Heron Lake Road. It was mentioned about, on Stemple, the bridge by Poor Man that crosses Stemple. You just mentioned it needs an undercut there, it's almost impassable. Road deterioration at the foot of that bridge, and the other side is one of the most notorious places on Stemple. You almost have to slow down to a snail's speed. Another thing, your grader people are doing a great job on Stemple, and they're doing a great job on Heron Lake, but there's no material, as mentioned before. I've lived there now 30 years, and at one time when there was bridge construction, they really put a lot of material on the road, and over time it's deteriorated. And now the poor grader driver, all he has to do when he tips his blade down to get material, because there is none, he goes down into the mud ditches and brings all that mud up, and we're driving on bad road material. And I guess it boils down what this gentleman says here, is just material.
Yeah.
I know you got so much funding, but I'm not talking for myself, I'm talking for the neighborhood.
Yes.
And I appreciate anything you can do for that.
Very much. Thank you. Appreciate the comments.
Any other questions? Seth?
back on the bridge issue, we do have a lot of private bridges, driveways, and they're not numbered, they don't have a weight on them, and that's something that the private landowner kinda has to take care of, but these bridges are key because we can't drive trucks across them, we can't save your house on a fire. Or we try to, and we look at a lot of them. We had one out on the plane crash, and I wouldn't let our big truck cross, even though I knew that thing would probably handle, 5 tanks stacked on top of each other, but we just can't do it. So if you have bridges, you're planning on changing a bridge out, keep that stuff in mind, that if we can't get to your house because we can't drive a truck across it. Same with wildland side, each one of those wildland engines weighs roughly 8 tons. And that's a lot of weight, and that's not counting the big trucks. Our pumper truck weighs 32,000 pounds. Our smallest tender weighs 21,000. Our other tender weighs 28,000. Our biggest tender weighs 49,000. So it kind of limits us. And if we don't know and there's no rating on it, we're probably not going to drive across it. I'll ask, out there, I knew they had cement trucks, log trucks, everything going across it. I looked underneath, it's all, that big around cement cross beams underneath it. So we were safe, but just something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind when we're talking about the roads, and this is from my community council side, because I've looked into this, I've had a lot of, not complaints, but comments from people over the years. It costs, $700,000 a year to run public works for roads in Lincoln a year, roughly. Between 600 and $1 million, depending on the weather. We only pay as taxpayers here for public works around 120 to 125,000. Might be a little more now. This was 5 years ago. So for the service we're getting, we're paying pennies on the dollar for what we're actually getting. So keep that in mind, that you want more services from another deputy to better roads to whatever, it's gonna cost, and somebody's gotta pay that. And I don't wanna pay more taxes, you guys don't wanna pay more taxes, but just keep that in mind. We don't pay much for what we get. And then a question for Kevin, just kind of popped in my mind, and it probably won't work, but on those bridge abutment, or leading up to the bridge, what about all those asphalt millings? Were they found out too?
Great question, Zach. They'll hold for a little while, but the problem with millings is just, if they pound in, you've been on Milling Road before, once they start going haywire, there's not a lot you can do with them. What we've been trying to do is put straight clay into the bridge ends. Clay's not real good for moisture a lot, but when it dries really hard. And we've tried it on a few in the valley, and they seem to be holding up. The other pieces that we have a lot of trouble with is gravelled asphalt, right? So any of those transitions where those cars are beating, transitioning from back to back. So we've been trying a lot of clay, just straight clay, and it seems to be holding up a little bit better than just a normal gravel would, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any further questions? Okay. Oh, I have a question. You've got one bridge that is rail car. Where's that at?
That is a lost horse. It's right before you get to Marsh Creek. I think it's on Olives up there. Oh, it's an old one.
Thank you.
You got,
All right.
we don't use rail cars anymore.
Oh, well, I didn't think so. I was kind of surprised to see that there was still one in use. Okay, thank you, Kevin. And now we're going to have public health reports by our new friend, Jacob Miles.
afternoon, commissioners. My name is Jacob Miles. I'm the opioid overdose prevention and safer communities Montana coordinator for Lewis and Clark Public Health, which is a whole lot of a mouthful. I just wanted to take a quick second and reiterate all the things that were said earlier about Narcan. It is quite a miracle drug when it comes to reversing overdoses, and if folks up here ever need any of it or want to have some of it just in case, they just recently changed the expiration date, so now it'll last up to 4 years. But if you are interested in having some of that up here, just let me know, and I'm happy to come bring some up for you. But today I'm here to talk about our suicide prevention efforts at Lewis and Clark Public Health. We had 2 coalitions of people working on suicide prevention throughout the county. We have now combined them all into one, so we all know what everyone is doing. My side of things is the Safer Communities Montana program, which is our lethal means safety, which is what you see a lot of the information on that handout I just gave you: gun locks, gun cases, lock boxes, those things, so all of us can be responsible firearm owners, keep our weapons safe, prevent them from being stolen and used improperly by other people, and to make it harder if someone is in a mental health crisis to have access to a lethal weapon. Our suicide prevention efforts also has the loss team, which I've got some pamphlets and flyers up here if folks are interested. This is a group of volunteers who have lost a friend or a loved one to a suicide, and mental health practitioners who, when someone does die by suicide in Lewis and Clark County, they are notified, and they will come reach out to the family members and friends of that person, so that way people who were the closest to someone who just died by suicide can have the support that they need to get through an incredibly horrible and taxing time on those that have to live through that loss. We also have information on the Suicide Prevention Coalition as well, and information on Montana 988, which is the crisis hotline. And that is not just if you are in, if someone is contemplating or thinking they might attempt suicide. It can be for any type of crisis, and they are connected through all of the systems available. So if it is a mental health crisis, if it was a crisis related to a drug problem someone had, or almost anything else, they're connected through the 211 system, so they can get you resources that you need, or whoever is in need of them. If it's a family member or a friend of yours that's in a crisis, you can call 988 to help get them resources as well. So we are continuing to make as many of these suicide prevention items on that sheet I handed out available to people throughout the county. So if any of that stuff is something you would like to have, please let me know. My contact information is on the bottom of the sheet. And I have some of it with me here today, probably not enough to give everybody a gun case because my car's not that big, but I do have a couple, so happy to share those with folks up here so we can continue to prevent suicides throughout the county.
Okay,
That's what I got.
thank you, Jacob. Is there any questions from the commission?
Chair Payne, I might just,
Andy?
you have the tear on here, and some people might not know when to use that. So like, for example, a prescription that has been expired, don't need it anymore, that
Correct.
might be, just maybe
Yes,
explain that.
the Deterra on there is drug deactivation kits, so they're little self-contained pouches that if you've got medications that are left over that you don't need anymore and you don't want them laying around the house, if you've got grandkids or little ones are coming over, you don't want to have extra medications in the house. The Deterra drug deactivation kits will tell you on the back how many pills or how much of a liquid medication it can dispose of, but you just pour in your pills that are left over that you want to get rid of, you add water, you can lock it back closed, and then you can throw them away safely into just the garbage can. It completely deactivates the medication itself, so it's safe for disposal, so you don't have to, it's not going to get into the groundwater, it can't be used again, and will allow you safe disposal of any form of medication. They do patches, liquids, pills, anything you can think of, they can deactivate them for you, so you don't have to try to drive all the way to the Helena to go to a pharmacy to turn in leftover pills.
But I didn't know.
Well, there you go.
Thank you very much. This is very informative. Maybe prices going.
I think people would rather talk about roads and bridges, but, I'm
Yeah,
sure
but
people
this
like
is
to
an
hear.
ugly part of our lives that we need to be prepared for. Tom, did you have anything? Okay, is there any, public comment regarding this issue? Seeing none. All right, thank you, Jacob.
Thank you, Chair.
And then, as we explained earlier, the other business section, we need to have, give notice of anything we talk about. So, other business, I don't believe we have other business today. So, next meeting is December 5th, 2025. And now we can move into part, and this is very important because we can't answer questions, but we can listen to you, so it's strictly intake for us. Public comment on any public matter within the jurisdiction of the commission that is not on the agenda above.
Name's Scott Hagan, Lincoln. I just wanted to find out if the information on the loan that we gave to the jerky plant, is that being honored or not? And he's out there kind of going defunct, that I know he's gave him, you guys, commissioners okay to loan for the owner, and I wanna know how that loan was going, so.
And as I stated earlier,
Yeah.
and we can get this on our agenda for
All
our
right.
next meeting, but we have to let everybody know we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
It's a public meeting, and it's not secret.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there, so I'd like to know about that.
Okay, we'll see what we can
Yep.
find out and see what we can, talk about. Zach?
Zach Muse, Community Council. So two things. One, we had addressed at community council and asked to have the sportsman club put on the agenda, and it is not. And two, we had some issues here with Government Day being canceled because of a lack of quorum over the summer. And in the 19 years I've been doing this, we've never done that. It can turn into a listening session or whatever if only one commissioner can come up, because 90% of the time, that's what this is. You're not acting, voting on anything. Sometimes you do, and I understand the quorum part of that, but that just started this summer. We've never done that. You just say, we don't have a quorum, and you cancel. Or, you know, that's not right, I don't think. The people wait this month to come and talk to you guys or listen and have their issues. I think it's fair that whoever the one is that still are available can come up here and do this. Because, like I said, in the past, that's what we've always done. And I think it needs to continue that way. If we were meeting every other week or something, that's different, but it's a month, and then you cancel the next month. Well, then you 3 months without people getting to speak their mind, and I don't think that's fair.
Thank you, Jack. Anything else?
Yes.
Approach.
Brian Passer with the Lincoln Sportsman's Club here in Lincoln. And Zach is who I did talk to at the community council. And we were trying to get this on the agenda. Apparently I handled it wrong, or it wasn't understood that we wanted it on. So anyway, we are here today to speak for the Lincoln Sportsman's Club.
What's the name of the club again? Would you say?
Lincoln Sportsman's Club.
Thank you.
I do have some handouts, if you can pass them. What we are here for is thank you for this opportunity as it is, but, I'm not the only one wanting to speak today. I've got two other people here, and then maybe even Dennis would like to speak, but we'll have Melissa Udarian speak and Nancy Schwalm. They're both going to speak after I'm done. I'm here representing the Lincoln Sportsman's Club. This club was established in 1990, disbanded later, and it was reestablished and incorporated in 2015. So we've been established since that date. Our membership for the last 6 years has been between 50 and 140 members. This year, currently, we have 95 members. Part of the reason we're having a lower membership is we have not had a shooting range in the Lincoln area. Wendell Weaver was nice enough to let us set up a range on his mother's property in 2019. It is under Nature Conservancy, so that range is very limited to just targets and some benches. It's located on Oxford Lane in Ovando, so it's a fairly decent drive from here to get there. It's not real easy to find. Like I said, it is on private property, on Nature Conservancy, and because of that, we are not allowed any permanent buildings of any type. So portable benches, so forth. We had another range that we established in October of 2022 on Beaver Creek that is also enrolled in the Nature Conservancy. We spent quite a bit of time, and Dennis might elaborate on that a little more, but putting that range together, the people that loaned us the use of that range withdrew that this year. So we no longer have a range there. We had to dismantle everything. It was also under Nature Conservancy, so we were not able to build any permanent buildings or anything on it. We are currently now working with the Montana Shooting Sports Association. Gary Marvitt is the president of that, and that is the brochure, the paper that I handed out. Working with them, we're trying to acquire property that we would own in the Lincoln area. The property that we're trying to get would be state-owned property at this time. We had worked some with the Forest Service. That didn't really work well for what we were trying to do, so this is the direction that Gary Marvitt told us that would be the best for us at this time, was to try to procure property owned by the state of Montana. So that is what we're trying to do. We would like to get the property, own the property, be able to build a clubhouse, shooting ranges, which would include both rifle range, pistol ranges, trap houses, archery range, and we also have currently have a BB gun range. That is a blow-up type range used by kids for training kids how to shoot with BB guns, and then of course advance on to other rifles and so forth. All this is what we're trying to get, and without owning the property, we will not be able to get that accomplished. We have tried to purchase property or look for property in Lincoln that we could afford to purchase and have been unable to do that. Most of the properties that are privately owned then are also surrounded by houses, which aren't real conducive for shooting ranges. Pretty much that's my little speech for the moment. I would call on either Nancy or Melissa.
Good morning, I'm Melissa Darian. Somewhat new back to the community, although I did grow up here. Spent 26 plus years in the military, and that's relevant for what I'm going to speak to. During my time in the military, I did own one of the ranges on the base, and then also worked as a range safety officer. And what I would say is what I see in the military is for the youth that come into the military and haven't had hunting experience or a lot of weapons experience, they really struggle qualifying on their weapons, right? It's they're much more comfortable on the range if they have some weapons experience. With Lincoln and Montana's economy being what it is, the military provides some great opportunities for our youth. And I would just say having a range, a local range for youth to go fire at gives them that familiarity with weapons. And then if they do enter the military, just kind of gives them a leg up during basic training, and then depending on what their job is in the military, doing their job in the military. So it really would give our youth in this community some advantages there. Second is safety. I'm sure we've all driven down Highway 200 and seen a vehicle pulled over and someone sighting in their rifle for hunting season, kind of off on the side of the road, right? That is not a safe place to do that sort of thing. When I was growing up here, we had a range up Sucker Creek, and that was part of your battle rhythm getting ready for hunting season, was going up to the range and sighting in your weapon. Not having a local range is a little bit of a deterrent for people doing that. And so again, from a safety standpoint, you know, we should all have our weapons sighted in and that sort of thing. And then finally, also dealing with safety. One of the reasons I return to Lincoln is I love the outdoors, right? And I go hiking by myself, I pick huckleberries, I do all of that, and I carry a weapon while I'm doing that. I also often carry bear spray, but typically also have the weapon on me. So for people that love to come to this community and hike and do all those outdoor activities, it's really important to be proficient on your weapon. And whether it's a thigh holster, front carry holster, whatever, you have to know how to draw that weapon and defend yourself either against another human or an animal. And if you don't have a range where you can consistently practice that, you're going to lose that proficiency. And so I just advocate for a range in this community when we have a lot of apex predators in the neighborhood. We want to be able to enjoy, and granted, again, I make noise, I carry bear spray, whatever, but if that situation arises, I want to be able to unholster my weapon and defend myself. And so, again, having a range here in town or nearby would really help facilitate that, not just for me for selfish reasons, but for this community as a whole. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Nancy Schwalm. My daughter, Dylan. Dylan, do you want to come up with me, please? Sure. Dylan Schwalm. And I just want to thank Melissa for speaking to some of the stuff that I plan to touch on. So I work predominantly with youth in the community. I'm a teacher across the street at Lincoln Public Schools, middle and high school science teacher. I coordinate our school's outdoor club, well, community outdoor club, because I have several homeschool families that participate in that. I've been a hunter education and a bow hunter education instructor for 19 years, 18 in this community alone. And I'm a national archery in the school's program certified teacher to be able to teach archery. I say all of that, in addition, I guess I forgot, I also have worked in the past for Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks as a volunteer, becoming an outdoors woman course. And so what does all that say? Basically, all of that says is I take a lot of people, a lot of youth, a lot of women, and a lot of adults that have moved here that aren't familiar with using weapons, how to do things safely, introducing them to the outdoors, and we need a facility in order for some of these activities to occur. For example, in hunter education, live fire has been linked. A live fire during your hunter education class has been linked to safer hunting out in the field. If you have that, that's one of the questions that we always fill out after every hunter education course. Have you done a live fire? Have you handled firearms? Because as a teacher, I can tell you, you learn by doing. You don't learn by reading. You don't learn by somebody telling. You learn by doing. And handling a firearm is an excellent way to do that. Archery, same argument. You learn a lot of things by doing. You can read until you can't read anymore, but actually doing it is a very different story. I asked my daughter to come forward today because I was involved with Lincoln Sportsman's Club long before she was ever even born, before her older brother was born. And here we were 15 years ago, sitting in this very room talking about getting a range. And I can tell you these precious 15 years has gone by. My daughter has an interest in shooting trap, and right now my choices are to drive her to Helena or not do those kinds of things. We have a need in this community to have facilities like that to be able to instruct our youth, not only through these education courses, not just our youth, the people that are moving into our state. A lot of newcomers have come in the last 5 years into our community. There's a lot of women. There's the fastest growing demographic of outdoor participation are women in the sports. And to be honest, the becoming an outdoors woman thing is there because they feel that intimidation factor in going to a male-dominated venue to learn some of these things. And I just feel like if we had that facility, it could be utilized not only through all these organizations that I volunteered for personally in our household, so we can go down and go locally and shoot track, but also through our school. Next year I was told that I will be teaching a outdoor leadership class. I've been teaching a wildlife biology elective for years. It's been super popular. The problem is, after you've taken it a couple times, the kids want to keep doing it, but it needs to expand and grow and do something different. So I was told I'm going to be doing an outdoor leadership. Very much looking forward to that. But what does that look like? Well, maybe perhaps part of it is practicing some of these skills that you're going to be utilizing. So I guess all of that to say, you know, I watch how quickly the time goes by. She wasn't even on Earth, and now she's at the age where if we don't start involving them in some of these sports, we're going to lose them. They're going to get involved in other things. Some of it, you know, wonderful. Sports, volleyball, basketball, great. Some of it not so desirable for the kids in this community. And I feel like we have a need here. I'm also part of the grant that was spoken of earlier by Zach. What can we do for both our community and for tourism dollars? One of our assets here is our wildlife, our outdoor resources. We certainly attract that group of people that are here, and I would just like to see a facility to match that. So I just strongly ask for your support and encouragement to see that for this community. I would really like, I've been a resident of Lincoln now for 19 years, and I would really like to see that be a source of pride in our community instead of a deficit, a need. Oh, I hope we get that and watch these generations grow and leave and not have that opportunity. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
You wanna go first, Brian? You wanna go first? Again, my name is Dennis Hefty. I'm associated with the Lincoln Sportsman's Club. To give you a little bit of my background, I've been a police officer for 30 years in Tampa metropolitan area of Florida. Population at that point of my retirement, 1995, was probably somewhere around 1,500,000. I was a tactical sniper for 15 years. 1980, I became a tactical officer, and I became a tactical police sniper for the remaining of my time until 1995. My main mission in the police department, of course, was all the basics that you had to do in the beginning, but I got into training and firearms training. I've been a certified firearms trainer since 1969. And I moved to Lincoln, Montana in 95. Been here for now almost 31 years. And I've been associated with the Sportsman's Club right from the beginning. I got 30 years working with the Sportsman's Club in the very beginning with some of the old timers in Lincoln that no longer exist. We started with some basic funds. We sold a piece of property some 30 years ago for around $10,000. We've worked hard with the Lincoln Sportsman's Club. We're somewhere in the realm of raising funds in the Sportsman's Club over $250,000 now, reaching even maybe higher. Brian can testify to that. He handles that department. My main objective is training. And I can see so many people that I've trained so far in this sportsman's club that are not adequately trained even to carry a firearm. We put on many courses, and if you're not trained well enough, you shouldn't carry it. The thing about carrying a firearm is, as was mentioned prior to my little speech here, is that you gotta know what you're doing with your firearm. You gotta know the nomenclature, you gotta know the ins and outs of firearm, how it's loaded, what it has to be activated, how you carry it. And if you ever had to use that firearm, you'd have to know the basics of laws that are concerning with that firearm. Because if you use it unlawfully, you're gonna find yourself in trouble. That's what I'm trying to avoid. But my mission here in the Sportsman Club is to train and to educate the youth. We're having trouble, and hopefully with the help of Nancy, we can get some youth involved in the program to start training so they can understand the necessity of firearms and the safety of firearms. Like I said, we've tried for some 30 years now to get a piece of property, and every time we get close, there's some objections that there's too much noise, or this, that, or the other thing. In a rural environment that we're in, I just can't, for the life of me, understand why we can't obtain a piece of property that would be beneficial to the sportsman club to train. I'm almost at word's end to say how much of a need it is. Right now, we have, during hunting season or prior to hunting season, we have people, I live up 4.5 miles from here. They travel down our road and they sight in weapons on the side of the road, and they have no idea that there's family dwellings that just are beyond the tree line. And my wife enjoys walking in the woods and stuff like that, and she's been nearly shot at because of what's going on during or just prior to hunting season. To eliminate that would be beneficial for us to secure a piece of property that would be used for that type of purpose. It would give a person a place to go. It would be a family environment. As mentioned before, there's many aspects of this property that would be used for, from archery to shotguns and rifles. And so I just wish to be, for the commission to see our push for a piece of property. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else care to speak?
Brian Passer again. I am the president of the Sportsman's Club currently, so that's why you have to listen to me. Just want to reiterate or cover some of that again. Right now, Dennis is one of the trainers, but we also do have 2 members that are certified to teach concealed carry and certify you as an NRA concealed carry. So we have that available. We're appealing to the county commissioners to sign off on our letter that we passed out as a coalition or as commissioners to help us with the state to procure a piece of property that we can use. for the gun range, so we can have a clubhouse, so we can have a place to train, so we can incorporate the kids. Right now, it's tough, we don't have anything that the kids can get involved with because we just don't have a facility to support that. We do have some money available, so we could build that if we had the land. So, thank you very much for listening. Any questions?
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Uh-oh, one more.
I'm Rick Coleman, assistant. I had a question for Roger today. He's here. Tomorrow night is,
Oh, yeah, the community.
you want to talk about it? That's what my question is.
Yeah, I'm Roger Day, Vice President of the Black Valley Historical Society. Tomorrow night is the community benefit. And we still have a lot of tickets, so if anyone's planning on going, I'm not sure, we've been talking about discounting some of the tickets at this point. Community Hall, I don't remember the times off the top of my head when it starts. It's the same as pretty much every year. And then this year, the play they're doing is based on the Red Bean Show. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. It's looking pretty good from what I've seen of it. Should be pretty entertaining. So if you have any questions, you can give us a call at 362-4131, or just come by Rusty Relics. And Forrest, I believe, still has a few tickets too, if you run into him. Yeah, that's what we got going on.
Rick, the benefit is Sportsman's Club and the Historical Society.
The Historical
Could you
Society
tell
and.
where the funds go when the
Yeah.
fundraising?
That's the Historical Society and the Snowboarders.
Snowboard,
Yeah. So, the funds we raise, my wife kind of does that. Part of it, part of it's still going to fireworks. The chamber no longer had the capacity to do it, so we took it over. That was their primary fundraiser. We took it over to keep it alive, so as far as I know, we're still donating money towards the fireworks. The rest of it goes to support the snowboarders and the historical society. And I believe I don't know the details. I think there are a few other things. You got the 11th share. Money from the 11th share goes to that, and that's part of the, ticket game, they call it. So that supports a local organization. So, yeah, so there are a lot of folks, for some reason, who don't think it actually benefits the community, but it does. They just might not see it correctly, but it's a community benefit for the community. So, except if you have any questions, let us know.
What time again?
I have to look, I don't remember the time. I think I know off the top of my head because I made the tickets. I want to say 5 or 5:30.
Is there a website, maybe?
No, we have information posted on Facebook. It's been a busy couple of months, so a lot of the stuff we normally do, we didn't quite get a chance to. But it is the 50th annual. It would have been the 51st, except COVID took a year out. So this is the 50th one. So it's kind of a landmark. Yeah, hope to see you there.
Okay, thanks. Any other public comments? Oh, uh-oh, Roger, did I forget you?
No, not at all. I'm Roger Baltz, I'm the administrative officer for the county. So I just wanted to make a suggestion. This is public comment
Yes, it is.
on the request for the support for the shooting range. You've heard a presentation of information today.
Yes.
Looking at this, the county commissioners as individuals can certainly express support for this. If the desire is to have a more formal action from the county commissioners, with the commissioner's approval, we can put it on a future agenda as an action item. And that will result in either some kind of formal statement from the commissioners or putting it on county letterhead. if that's what the group would want. And I just wanted to make that suggestion. And we have Mr. Patzer's contact information. We can follow up after the meeting on all of that. I just wanted to suggest that here as the meeting went on to everyone today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rodney, that's very helpful. Uh-oh.
I would like to comment again, thank you, but yes, we would like the county commission to sign off on that as a commission, as soon as possible. So if we have to be on an agenda to do that, we would like to be there.
And do you need a email or anything, or you'll take it from here and get it on the agenda? He says he'll do it. Anything else? I think we should start for the tickets for Zach.
So I guess, Zach, so is the community council not a place anymore for us to get stuff on the agenda?
I don't know. I'm sorry, Zach, I don't understand.
I mean, that's the whole idea of the community council is if people have something, they can bring it to us, so that ruins our credibility when they ask for us, for something to be put on the agenda. I ask, I get the county saying, okay, and it's not on the agenda, so.
The issue with recording all of the giving notice lies at the feet of the legislature. They require that we give notice, it's in the statute, and so we do. And so now it looks to me like we have a formal request to have, now, so you get the benefit of having it here once, a spontaneous discussion in public, and then the second bite at the apple when we put it on the agenda and can take formal action. How's that? Does that make sense?
I think maybe this is partially my fault, or maybe entirely my fault. I joined as the rep for the commission representative for the council, and I was not clear that this is what you wanted. I should have understood that, and we could have put it on. So I'll take the blame for it not being on.
Yeah, it was very clear. I'd like it on the agenda, it's pretty clear.
Yeah, and that's, I'll take the blame.
Okay, because otherwise, if we're not gonna do that,
And I guess,
I'm just gonna abolish
I
the
was not aware that that was one of the things that the council was doing.
Okay.
I apologize for being the newbie and messing that up.
It was miscommunication.
It was not miscommunication. He asked for it to be put on the agenda.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
please put it on the agenda.
That's right.
Okay, he said it, but that doesn't mean it was communicated.
It's-
And I said it was,
Council,
good and
Okay, well, we got that.
I'll take the blame.
Well, it's if, like he said, if we're gonna be a community council and we are
Would you
representing.
get up and talk into the microphone so we can get this on the record? State your name.
My name is Cindy Wojciechowski, and I'm also on the community council. And like we said, if we're gonna have the community come to us with issues, and we're saying that we can help them because we are talking with you all, and then y'all don't hear us, I don't know how more clear he could be. Please put this on the agenda. I'm sure you've said it 2 or 3 times.
And I got
And-
okay, we'll do that. 2 or 3
Yes.
times.
I did
So
not.
if our reputation is ruined, we don't wanna ruin our reputation, as being representative of the community, is what I'm trying to say, and that's what he's trying to say. Otherwise, why are we here?
Would you like a formal letter of apology?
I would.
What I'd like is to not have a commissioner be a smartass when we have some problem.
Yeah, I
That's
really don't
complete horse
appreciate your
crap.
attitude, but.
Horse crap.
Oh,
I'm
Is
done
that
with
capital?
people. Done with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Kristen Baker Dickinson, and I'm the local DNRC representative. I would just like to encourage folks to reach out to me as the local representative, because this is the first contact that I've had regarding this proposal. And so certainly I understand the desire to approach the land board, but I would very much encourage local communication too. Thank you.
I'm sorry, would you come back up? So, and this has to do with the shooting range?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they're proposing a shooting range on land that I locally manage, and I have been contacted regarding this up until this point.
Okay. we
So
see
I
that.
would just encourage some outreach. I think it would be very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Roger?
A lighter note, Zach, I don't have my phone, so Zach pulled it up. Community benefit doors open at 5, dinner starts at 5:30. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Roger.
Brian Passer again.
Hey, Brian.
I can't say, I mean, I do realize that they did want this on the agenda, asked for it that way, but Tom also reached out to me and spoke with me. I didn't understand all of his questions, so maybe some of that mix-up is also on my plate.
No, I'm not gonna put it, I'll take
So I just want to apologize for any
Yeah.
misfeelings there, which it shouldn't have happened. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?